Hey folks, it's Frith Guy here, how you doing? Welcome back to Estancia Lapacho, and I was actually just standing here in front of this one, and I'm just going to stop talking just a second, and I just want you to listen. You can turn the volume up. I'll leave it for 6 seconds. You can turn the volume up, and then my voice won't absolutely deafen you. And just listen, it's actually really, really beautiful and peaceful here. And that was actually a little bit longer than 6 seconds. But yeah, you get the idea. You got the wind, there's a few animals you can hear in the background, and I really like the sort of the gentle squeaking of this windmill here. And yeah, it's absolutely awesome. I love it. I really do. I sort of hadn't really noticed that the background, the ambience of the map previously, but yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. So the more I see about this map, the more I like it, the more impressed I become. We have got a couple of fields left to do. We've got field 11 and field 10 that we are going to be planting with beans. So I'm just going to bring this one down here and we'll reload it. And then once we've done that, we can start it planting. The cultivator is busy working hard in the sugarcane field, cultivating up the damaged half of the crop that the cows went in and utterly decimated, which was not on, really. I'm not really happy about that, but there's not a lot that we can do. Let me just jump in here and switch over to seed. We come back, and there we go. So, my question for this week. You can see right here, we have the ST Max 150. Well, it's actually an ST Max 180 because we've got the upgraded version. It's just finishing off cultivating up the half of the field that the cows damaged when they escaped from their holding and rampaged off across the map. So it's just finishing this up. So what do you want me to do with this half of the field? Do you want me to just leave this until after we've harvested the good half of the field? Or would you rather I replanted this now soon, probably start doing it next week, so that we can then sort of wait for this to catch up with the other half of the field? So we can either replant it now, or we can leave it until after the harvest, and then we can do something with the field as a whole. It's your vote, it's your game. Head into the comment section down below, let us know which one you want and why, and of course don't forget to actually cast your vote in the top right hand corner. So I'm just going to leap back up here to the 105, and if I close that one down like that, I can start this field here being planted, and then once we've got this one underway, well, once this one's done, we've got one more field up the top. We will eventually be turning this field and field 10 into one large field and sort of extending out along the side over there and northwards a little bit as well, and joining the whole lot together. So we'll have quite a big field up here, mainly because most of you felt that this area down here has been done by every other farming simulator YouTuber and you wanted something a bit different. So we're doing this area up here, and I'm not going to go for a square field. I'm actually going to go for a natural curve. Just following the edge of the road. We'll keep it out from the road a little bit, but we will do our best to incorporate a natural curve, at least on that side. So probably down here it won't be quite so naturally curved, although there is a shed here somewhere. We're going to have to take that into account as well. Anyway, we have finished this field, so I can take this one back up to field 5, and we can continue on with cultivating that one. We've got our baling to finish off, which is literally just one line down across the map. And then we can go. We've got a couple of little bits that we missed, and I promised you faithfully, for those of you who do have quite serious OCD and genuinely despise it when I leave little patches in the fields, I promised you this time I would not leave patches in the field. I will get every single bit of straw out of that field into a bale. So yes, I will do that. We've got that little piece there, and there's a little piece halfway down, and that'll be all of it then, so we're not going to have to worry about it. I'm going to go up here and get this one going. Then I think what we'll do to gather the bales up, I was torn between an Arcusin stacker and using the auto load on the vehicle that on the trailer that we've already got. I'm going to get an Arcusin stacker for this time, and then we can always decide later on if we want to keep it or if we want to get rid of it. I've actually part way on a pass across the field there. Yeah, we can always decide if we're going to keep it or get rid of it or something like that later on. So I'm going to use the Arcusin stacker this time, just because, yeah, I quite like that machine, and we haven't really used it a great deal. So let me start that one there. And away we go. Okay, he's doing well. So we want to go to our baler next. And there is our fuel tank. The one that I got, because I know that several of you didn't like the colour for the pickup, which is why you made me get rid of it. So yeah, I've got my own back by getting the fuel tank. Exactly the same colour as the one that you didn't want. I'm not sure if that's going to backfire or not. It might end up backfiring on me, mightn't it? We'll see. Let's get this one going. So we've just got this last little bit of straw to do. Ooh, I've actually got a little tiny patch right there in front of me. So let me just back up there a little bit and start this bad boy up. There we go. Get that bit there. We've got this little run here. Just a couple of little bits. There we go. Now I can spin round and put it into the crop up this side. We're also going to have to get a... Have I already bought a pressure washer? I don't think I've got one yet. We're going to get a pressure washer, and we are going to be pressure washing our stuff on a regular basis here on this map, because I would like to have nice clean machinery. And, you know, I'm honestly not sure. I can't remember if I bought one or not. We do so many maps and I do so many different things that I do sometimes forget between episodes what we've got and what we haven't. We will check and see if we've got one in a minute, and if we haven't, we will get one and we will install it, and we will clean our tractor and our baler before we go and park them up. We do have to get that whole field down there sorted out. I was thinking actually of getting a little bit of taking a small cut of grass off there before we start transforming that little area and putting our sheds up and stuff like that. However, Ooh, this is a terrible mistake to make. Yes, I was recording Sandy Bay just recently, so let me just change that round to the correct one. So we want dollars and we want kilometers. Let's go back to there. Right, that's more like it. Yes, we've got that area there, and some people did suggest that I should take some grass off of there before I plough it up, and, well, I won't be ploughing it up, we'll just be laying the concrete down. Although I am actually thinking that it would probably be more realistic if we were to plough it first before we laid the concrete down. Because I've known several people to like lay out a yard, and, well, actually ploughing wouldn't really make a lot of difference, but they do go over with an excavator and remove all the topsoil first, so that can be used elsewhere, because it's kind of valuable to be throwing underneath concrete. But we can't really do that, so I suppose if I was to plough it up, that would kind of simulate doing something to prepare the surface for the concrete before we put the concrete down. So that's something that I am thinking of doing. Let me just go forward a little bit. There we go. Take that one off. Fold that one up. We successfully did our baling without baling the little the second chute bit off the end of the baler, which I always think is a good thing considering my track record in the past for baling those things off. I did tell you about that in a previous episode, so I won't repeat myself on that one. But yes, we've got this grass in here, and so we may do something with that before we ultimately plough and put stuff down over that area. I know I've already put the shed, the workshop down, and it probably would have been better if I'd put the concrete, but we'll try and put the concrete right up against it anyway, so we'll see what we can do with that. But yeah, this area here, I've got this area there earmarked for ploughing the whole area and then reseeding it with grass, so that we've got, you know, basically we get a higher yield from it, and then we can use the whole area as grass, the grass supply for our cows. So we'll just bring this one in up here. We've got to decide where we're going to put a pressure washer. Where would be the best place? I'm actually thinking out on this side, because that would allow the water to sort of run away. Although that's running away across our main track, which is going to cause quite a bit of mud issues. Because if you've got water running down this way and our main track is running through the yard, it's going to spread a lot of mud. That could be some problems. Yeah, I'm not really sure if we want to do that now. Where the best place to do it would be. So we go into placeables and we go there. No, we don't have one at the moment. So we need a pressure washer. This is something that we have to have. Now, putting it up here, I don't really think is a good idea, because of the runoff and everything, the water is going to be heading towards the sheds. You don't really want to do that. I don't like the idea of having it here, because it's blowing mud off towards our garden, and we didn't really want to do that. We want to keep the machinery away from this area around here, nearer the house. We don't really like the idea of the machinery being there. Over here near the cows, you don't really want to do that. It's going to disturb them and upset them. Although down this side, possibly this will be a good idea, because, I mean, if you look over here, we've got the main road, but that is slightly raised, so you're going to have some drainage along the sides there. The land slopes naturally down towards the drains that are going to be down there anyway, and we have a supply of water here at the water tower. So over here would actually be one of the best spots that I can think of to put this one. Now, you do have the entrance to the cattle over there, but again, that's not really going to cause any major issues. The only issue that I can see is that it doesn't actually like the idea of placing the pressure washer anywhere near what I think would be one of the optimal places to put it. We could put it out this side, but again, you've got to come out a long way before it allows you to do it because of where the edge of the cows are. You can see there it is going cannot be placed here all the way round. And that's a long way out. That's actually right in the road. We wouldn't want it right in the road, but I do like the idea of having it here so that you've got this natural slope sort of running back down this way in towards the drainage for the road. You do have that problem there with another issue with our sort of main road, but maybe if we were to put it over this side, so you've got underground water coming over here to the pressure washer that it could then be used, that might actually be a feasible thing to do. And we do have to put a lot of thought into this, where we could, I mean, ideally I'd like to do it there. That, I think, would be the best place, because you could park the machinery there, and you could wash them. That, however, as it's not an option, perhaps if we put it on this side of the road, over here, it's far enough away from everything, and the water and it's got a soft area here that it will drain into, so it's not going to cause any problems there with mud. There's not a lot of through traffic through here, because I mean, yes, we do come into the farm through this way, but, I mean, we can go that way, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to all the time. But that is kind of, at the moment, that's our primary route going into the farm, is up through there, because we don't do clamped silage at the moment, and we're not planning to in the near future either. So this, by process of elimination, does actually seem to be the optimal place to put our pressure washer, right there. And what I'm also going to do is I kind of like the idea of, I don't want to put a water tower, I want to have something cheap, like a little shed or something like that, because, like this one here, there's a small vehicle shelter here. Now, the reason that I would like to add this one into it is because the pressure washer, you wouldn't normally stick a pressure washer by itself out in the middle of nowhere, you would actually have it in a shelter. We cannot put one over the other. The game doesn't allow you to do that, but what it does allow you to do is it allow you to put it fairly close by. So if we were to rotate this one round, and we have a shelter over on this side, like that, what we can essentially say is we've pulled that pressure washer out and we can put it there. So if I go like that, and then I just come back, and we're going to just spin round here, we're going to go down to the pressure washer. I'm going to show you what I mean. If we take a closer look at the pressure washer, you'll see it's actually a portable one. It's not one that has to be fastened. So we're saying that we've installed some pipes and some power down here so that we can use the pressure washer. But if you take a look here, you will see that this one has wheels, and you can also see the handles on the back. This is a very portable pressure washer. So we would just put it in here. It's undercover, it's not going to get rained on, it's not going to get damaged or anything like that, but it can be rolled out and it can be used around here. Now we can either put it here, or if that's in the way, if we've got some other stuff coming through, we don't want to use it immediately, we can park the machinery over here and we can use it here. I will possibly plow this up at a later date, I'm not quite sure, we will have to wait and see. But anyway, that is all of my reasoning behind putting the pressure washer down here. And if you agree, disagree, I'd very much like to hear your views on this. Where do you think would be the optimal place on this map to place a pressure washer? Sort of taking into account absolute realism. I want absolute realism behind this one. I don't want sort of what works well for the actual map, because if I was doing what worked well for the map, I'd plonk it down on the corner of the shed up there. But as I'm sort of making this a very realistic series, I don't think that that would be the best place to put it, based on my reasoning with where the water runoff is going to go. So if I just go over to the baler, and I am aware that we're supposed to be doing this realistically, so I will go right round the machine, like this, and we get to both sides of this machine. We'll wash it off over this side as well. Get those wheels. You need to get right in around the hubs of the wheels. This bit's always the worst bit. You can do these panels, it's fine, you sort of stand to an angle like that, and you do it like that. No bother with spray, runoff, or anything like that. When you get into these straight corners, you do have to be careful. You kind of go at a side angle like that. I would actually swap hands and I would move it out round and do it there. Doing inside the wheels, though, that's the real kicker, that one is. It's an absolute kicker, because no matter how much you try, because of the curved angles and that on it, you always get a face full of spray. It doesn't matter how often you do this. At some point cleaning the wheels, you always get a face full of spray. It's just something that happens. You often get it with the corners, but I mean, eventually you sort of learn with the different machines you can avoid it. But when you're doing when you're doing these tractors, wheels are the worst. Wheels are always the worst, because you get a face full of spray. There's nothing you can do about it. Also, the front link, when you're doing that area around there, you'll grease these so that they fit better. And then when you come along to clean them, you see you've got a little bit of grease around there, and then sort of accumulated load of dust over it. You need to clean that off, because otherwise it turns into a kind of grinding paste, which can damage the machine, and it'll sort of damage around that area there, which is you lift that little link up, and that pulls out that little piece on there, and that releases the ball on there. So that inside there has got to be kept greased, and if you allow dirt to get in here, it dries, it goes crusty, and then this thing seizes up. So you've got to clean it. And when you come in around these little tiny bits here, that bit of dirt encrusted grease will then, because of the different angles and that, you'll almost invariably get some flicking into your face. So when I'm pressure washing, if I'm pressure washing a lot, I always put full waterproofs on, and I put goggles on as well, so I don't get little tiny bits of dirty grease going into my eyeballs, which is never very pleasant. But anyway, I've just wrapped the cord for this one all the way around the vehicle, so let's just go all the way back over here, and we can put that one down. We'll go and park this one up, and we need to go and get our Arcusin. That's the next thing that we're doing. We're getting an Arcusin stacker, and that is going to be the bad boy that we're using. I was just getting some issues with the headphone jack into my PC. I don't think it's affecting the quality of my my voice recording at all. I think it's just my sound personally that's being affected. It may also be affecting your sound as well, and you're only getting it coming out of one speaker. I did have that previously as a little bit of a problem. If you're getting any issues with this, then please let me know, and I will see if I can take some curative steps to see if I can solve this issue. Anyway, we need to carry on. We're going to be using the Stara, because the Stara is the star of the show here. And yes, I'm going to keep making that same horrible pun on a regular basis with the Stara tractors, just because they are the stars of the show. Yeah. It's the platinum map. We need to use these tractors as much as we possibly can, because they fit this map. They are for this map, so we're going to keep using them. We're going to go and get the Arcusin stacker, and we're going to bring that one back, and then we can start doing our bales. I'm also thinking that we should wait until the sun comes out again, because it gets very dreary when the clouds are in. So yeah, we will do that as well. Well, we've been sat around for absolutely hours. It's now 4:30. Finally, the sun has come out again, so we can carry on with our work. I think we'll have time to finish what we want to do today. I'm really hoping we do. It was just gone 12, I think, when we decided that we would wait for the sun to come back, which is a very, very long time to have to wait for the sunshine. It really is. But anyway, we're going to take this back road. We've not actually taken this one before, and I was just looking at the map thinking, well, there must be a quicker way than driving up the road back to the farm and then going in across. And actually there is this way. There is this track that runs just in behind the shop, and then it runs all along south of field 29 and straight into our farm, which, as fortune would have it, is directly beside the field that we want to deal with first. So I know that this isn't the fastest tractor. I think actually the John Deere is slightly faster than this tractor. However, I do think that we should be using this one to do this job. In the future, it might actually be better if we were to get a Fendt. Now, I don't know if Fendt is often used in South America. This is something that I'm completely unsure of. But if it is used in South America, I do think that it would actually be a better vehicle to be using for this job, because it's so much faster. The Fendt is one of the fastest tractors there. I mean, we could go for a fast track. I think that's even faster than the Fendt, but I'm not entirely certain. Now, I think that would actually be really cool if we could have a fast track on this farm. It would, just for jobs like this, because the fast track isn't the most powerful of tractors. It really isn't. It does struggle a little bit with hills and that, but we don't have any particularly strong hills, or steep hills, I should say, on this map. So it's not really going to be much of an issue for it. And for jobs like this, it'd be absolutely perfect, because it can whiz around a field with blistering speed, and it can deal with this in no time at all. So let me just bring that one in there and turn it round. You don't have a very wide turning circle on this vehicle, and we can't fit a bumper bar to the front of this tractor because this one doesn't actually have front links on it. So it's a little bit of a shame that it doesn't give us that option, but we can live with that. Something that we'll work with. Go and get that one, and then we can go whizzing up here and get the next one. So if you just move up and down the field, it's actually a lot easier because you keep everything in line. So we don't want to be just turning back on ourselves all the time. So if we move along the headland a little bit and then start moving up and down the field, we should be able to get a more an easier approach to getting all of the bales. That's what I want. And we grab this one. I want to get this field done first because we've got the other Stara there. The cultivating is finished and it is there lined up and raring to go so that it can get into this field and get the cultivating done in here. And then we've got the other barley field down, not the barley field, the other one, this was the barley, and the other one's the wheat field. We've got that wheat field as well to cultivate, and then we've got the last one over on the other side of the map. We've also got the two big fields that we're going to be ploughing into one, except that I was thinking of actually just using, well, we're going to wait until we turned it into one field, and then after that we'll sort of decide how we're going to do it. I'm not quite sure yet. I haven't quite made my mind up. So we'll decide on that one. I don't think we're going to get to that this week, though. So we'll bring this one down here. We're going to have to make a decision about how much straw we keep and how much we sell. And I'm not actually sure, looking on the map, where we have a bale sell point, because it doesn't look like we have one at the farm this time. We've got there at the grain elevator, and when you've got the lumber yard, the biogas, sugar, harbour, spinnery, you normally have like a bale sell point at the farm itself, but it doesn't look like I mean, unless it's not marked on the map. That might be it. I mean, the bakery and the spinnery, obviously, they're out in the grain elevators. Harbour, I very much doubt that we'd be selling straw at the harbour. And maybe the biogas plant? That could be a possibility. There could be a possibility of selling it at the biogas. We will go and take a look back at the farm, and we will see. We do have a full load, so if we go and take a look at the farm, there may be a bale sell point here that I have overlooked. And if there is, ideal, we can sell a few of these bales, but I'm not actually sure, to be honest. This isn't something that's come up yet so far. And if there isn't, it's going to add an interesting element to the gameplay that we cannot sell. I mean, it doesn't make sense. There's going to be a bale sell point somewhere, surely. I can't see that they would have done the map without a bale sell point. That absolutely does not make sense. Whizzing around there, so there's nothing up this side, and normally it is usually marked out by bales on the ground or something like that, and it's certainly not there. That's all to do with the cows there. You've got the water, you've got food, that's where the cows go in, and then you've got the straw over there for the cows. So it's not any of those bits, and it doesn't look to be anything on the actual barn itself here for selling straw. I'm going to just take a little look around a minute. I took a little bit of a look around and I found the bale sell point, and I love where they put it on this map, because normally they put the bale sell point at the farm. They're almost always put at the farm, and it's never really sat particularly well with me having the bale sell point at the farm, because how many farmers do you know go and sell bales in their own barns? It's not something that you would normally do. So yes, I have found it, and I will show you in a minute. We're going to drive over there with our first load. Actually, no, we're not. I'm torn now. We will go and drive over there with our first load, and then we will stack the rest of the bales in the field, and then we'll use the auto-load trailer to load them up. So what we're going to do is we use the stacker, the Arcusin stacker, to stack the bales in the fields. And that's quite realistic. Very often that is what you would do in real life. It's what I've seen done in... I've never actually used an Arcusin stacker myself, but I've worked in plenty of instances where one is being used. So it's been used in the fields, and then I've come along with a telescopic handler, and I've been the one loading them from the stacks that were put in the field with the Arcusin onto lorries to be taken elsewhere. And I've spent a lot of time doing that. So it is something I'm very familiar with. It's a process that I'm very familiar with. So if we bring this one here, now let's just first of all just take a quick look at how much straw we have here at the yard to decide whether or not we want to keep any from this particular harvest. I don't think we need to be honest, because we've got we've got 12, 13 bales there, plus we've got more bales in that line there. We've got 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we've got another 10, and we've got 23 bales of straw, which I think for the cows is actually going to be more than enough. So I don't think we need to worry about getting them any straw. So what we're going to do with the rest of the straw that we've got is we're going to load it up. We're just going to stack it in the field. We're going to put it into groups in the field, and then we're going to go and get the auto-load trailer that we've got, and we're going to stick it onto our truck, and we're going to use that to take it to the sell point and sell it. However, I am just going to do this first load here with the tractor just to show you where it is. So we do actually have to go to a point to sell it. Now, many of you probably already know where this one is. Some of you might not, so this is a little surprise for you. See if you can guess where it is before I get there. I will just drive the whole way. Yeah, once we've done this straw, I'm kind of thinking that our very next task ought to be connecting these two fields. This is something that we need to get done, something that I would like to do. So if we sort of put that as our very next task, we get the plough on and we start joining those two fields together, I think that's something that would actually be quite beneficial. It would be a good thing to go to get done, and then we can get that field planted up as well. And here we go. This is where we want to go, and this is the bale sell point. Right there, you can see it, right beside the animal sell point is that bit right there, which I think is absolutely brilliant. It's actually on the map. It is marked on the map. However, you can't clearly see it. It's covered up. But if you zoom right in like this, as far as I can, there you can just see it, and then you go to that one there, and that's actually the marker for the bale sell point anyway. But yeah, because it's covered up by the animal one, it's actually quite difficult to see, and I quite like that. I thought that was a nice little touch. I don't know if it was intentional or if it was just sort of a slight oversight or something. I'm not quite sure. There is a patch out for this, and I think there's a patch for actual Farming Simulator as well as a patch for the Platinum Edition. I haven't updated either of them. My standard policy is to leave a patch for at least a week after it's come out to allow for any errors to be taken care of. Sometimes I will do it faster, but this time I decided I'd leave it. I don't really want to risk messing up my game. So here we go. How much do we get? $442 per bale. Not too shabby. So what we're going to do is we'll use the Arcusin to stack all of the bales in the fields. And when we've done that, then we will get the auto-load trailer and we will start loading up the bales from the field using the truck, and we'll bring them over here and we'll sell them at this point. I don't think we need to keep any of the straw from this harvest this time. We'll grab all of these bales in this field first. I was actually wondering if it would be just a single load, but it's definitely not going to be. It is more than a single load in here. So we'll make a stack here of the first of the bales. Then we can move over to the other fields and we can worry about that. Because we're stacking in the field, we are actually going to have to wait until we've cleared a few of them before we can get our cultivator started, which is going to slow that process down a little bit. But it's not going to make a massive difference to it. But it will slow it down just a tiny bit. So we will, obviously that's going to be the first field that we clear. Once we've got the bales all stacked up, we will go straight up to that one first with the truck so that we can get that bit cleared. Then the cultivator can get going on those fields while we clear the rest of the bales. And then after we've cleared the rest of the bales, we can then go and get the plough and we can start work on expanding the field over there. And then after we've expanded those fields and we've joined those two together, so obviously that area there is not going to require any trees to be cut down. We won't be worrying about trees being cut down on any of that. Once that bit's been dealt with, then we can go over to there and we can get started on making our yard over there. And so we are absolutely flooded with work that we need to do. We've got so much stuff that we need to get done, and it's just finding the time for it all. Now, I have in the past with a lot of jobs just kind of done a lot of it behind the scenes, but I'm hearing more and more that that isn't a play style that you guys want to be seeing from me. I do tend to now show almost all of the work on screen. A little tiny bit I will time-lapse, but generally I tend to show most of it on screen. And sort of we have this almost like a cross between what I would class as almost a full YouTube video, where you literally get a gaming highlights reel, and then a live stream where you see absolutely everything. And I tend to work my videos now as like a cross between the two, so that you don't have like a full it's not a highlights reel, but you don't have a complete live stream type video. And that seems to be what you come to me for. And the majority of people that come back and watch my videos again and watch all of the new stuff that's coming out seem to be the ones that appreciate that style of game, that style of gameplay. And there are other farming simulator YouTubers that will do more of a highlights reel rather than a almost live stream type approach. So yeah, you've got various ones to choose from, and so I'm going to stick with this style. I'm not planning on changing it anytime soon. This is I quite enjoy doing it like this as well. I like to be able to sort of show what's going on with the map. And going on a lot of feedback that I've had over the last couple of months, while I'm sort of been making some fairly major changes to how I do some things, and also some big changes to the channel itself, since I've now gone completely full-time on YouTube, is sort of how you want me to continue my approach with farming simulator videos. Possibly the biggest complaint I've had is I have been doing slightly shorter videos on this than some others, and that a lot of you do actually like the live stream type approach, coupled with a slightly longer video. So you've got time to really start to get into it. So that is something else that I've taken on board, and I am trying to make sure that I do, because the reason I was cutting them short is because I have been doing shorter videos for Farming Simulator compared to most of my other stuff, and I just sort of I made the assumption, I made an assumption, and you should never make assumptions. You should always research, you should always double check, and I made assumptions, and it turns out that those assumptions weren't quite on the money. So I apologize for that, and I am working to improve things as always. So yeah, we'll get all of these bales. We're certainly not going to have time to do this today. I will be finishing stacking all of these bales in the fields in tomorrow's episode, and then we can get them off the fields and we can get them sold. And then once I've done that, then we got all of these other tasks that we need to get onto as well. So we've got to join the fields together, and then once we actually get up there and we start working on the fields at the top up there, and making that a little bit bigger, there is actually the tree harvester mod that has come out that apparently it automates the tree harvesters a little bit. I haven't tried this mod at all. I know nothing about it. All I've got currently is it's installed. That's it. But I haven't actually used it, for the principal reason that I wanted my first experiences using this one to be on here. Now, I can be quite dramatic. I've been told by my wife that I'm very dramatic and very over-dramatic at times. And I'm sure she's probably got some... There's bound to be some basis to this argument, but anyway. And I do find it difficult to fake surprise, right? So I do like to try to get as much of my surprise with different things in my videos as realistic as possible, and by making sure that it's actually surprise rather than finding out what it is beforehand and then pretending to be surprised, because I genuinely struggle to pretend to be surprised about anything. It just doesn't really work for me. It's not something that I can do very well. So yeah, as far as the tree harvester mod, I haven't used it at all. I haven't tried it, I haven't looked at it, I haven't watched any videos of it. I know nothing about that mod other than the fact it's supposed to assist with automating tree harvesting. So I'm quite looking forward to finding out how it works and what it does. Now, I'm deliberately moving these down here. I know that I'm mixing straw. We got wheat straw in this field and barley straw up there, but for the sake of speeding things up a little bit, and the fact that the game doesn't actually differentiate between the two types of straw, I'm just going to mix them in together down here, and that way we can let that Stara get started on cultivating the field up there. Once I've moved a couple of bales out of the way along the top end, everything will be tickety-boo. Right, that is pretty much all I've got time for today. So the weekly question, before I forget, You just go into here. We have now had to cultivate up half of our sugarcane field because the cows unfortunately escaped from their holdings, destroyed some of our machinery, and then ran rampant across the field and decimated the crops. So we've cultivated up half of the field to represent the losses to our crops. What do you want me to do with that field? Do you want me to just leave it until after we have harvested the sugarcane that remains in that field? Or would you like me to replant that sugarcane now so that we can make use of it sooner? It's your vote, it's your game. Head into the comment section down below, let us know which one you want and why, and of course don't forget to actually cast your vote in the top right hand corner. And if you enjoyed the episode, then please head down below and give me a like, and if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me, get them to come and watch as well, that would be awesome. But until next time, thank you very much for watching, this is Frithgar, goodbye, and see you later.